SummerSlam. Taylor Rivera, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The St. Paul City Attorney's Office has declined to bring criminal charges against demonstrators who disrupted a January service at City's church.
They cannot pretend to be a house of God while harboring someone who is directing ICE agents to wreak havoc upon our community.
Nakima Levy-Armstrong speaking at the church in January where she and others were protesting against the pastor there. While there are still federal charges pending, there will not be any state charges, according to St. Paul City Attorney Irene Gao. She said in a statement there was insufficient evidence to establish probable cause and to go forward in the case. She said the decision should not be interpreted as an endorsement of unlawful behavior or public disorder, adding that the right to peacefully protest is protected, as is the right to exercise one's religious beliefs. Susie Jones, News Talk 830 WCCO.
The Minnesota Star Tribune announcing it's cutting its workforce by 15% across all departments. Reporter and co-chair of the Star Tribune's Guild, Jeff Day, telling WCCO's Adam and Jordana it's part of a growing trend as the news industry has reportedly lost 75% of its jobs over the last 2 decades.
If you're running a media company right now, I'm sure that you are looking at all this trying to figure how do we get to a plateau and then how do we start growing? What does that look like? How do we make money? What are the systems in place that we haven't thought about that could make us that money?
The paper's leadership is exploring a potential new ownership structure to stabilize operations. The Minnesota Vikings introducing their new general manager today. Nolan Teasley spent the last 13 years in Seattle's organization, helping guide the Seahawks to the postseason 9 times with 3 Super Bowl appearances and 2 titles. He says his goals are the same for the Purple.
We're going to develop a shared language that drives how we evaluate and how we operate in working toward building a champion on a day-to-day basis. And most importantly, I'm going to provide the support system that Kevin O'Connell needs to bring his vision for this team to life.
Teasley replaces former GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, who was fired by the team in January. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Comes up the north side of the metro, eastbound 694, stalled truck off to the right side, helping to slow you down, east 694 in your University Avenue. Westbound, we had a crash working off to the right shoulder. They just pulled away, but west 694 remains tight coming down from Silver Lake Road. 35E northbound, some slowing out of St. Paul, heading up to 694. 10 westbound slows into Anoka. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The showers and thunderstorms out west will work their way toward us overnight tonight. Just some scattered showers by morning as we fall back to 65. Scattered showers and thunderstorms possible tomorrow. Better chance of it later in the day into the night. 81 will be the high. Same goes for Friday. Those showers will clear out. We dry out this weekend.
Mostly cloudy right now, 83 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Built on facts, powered by curiosity. News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
All right, Twins get shellacked. Just brutal out there today. Welcome to Drive Time. It's Jason. Heard Laura with the news. It's sunny. It's beautiful. We're not going to get down with the Twins loss today. It's been a tough day for the media, though, that's for sure. Couple topics today we're going to talk about with a meltdown in the media industry. I want to start with Scott Pelley. Scott Pelley, in the most obvious thing in the world, was fired by CBS. And I mean, no kidding, says most of you who never have known the sheer pleasure of telling off a boss. I have spent 25 years in newsrooms. I'm going to share with you 4 things that I know about journalists and newsrooms. But first, I want you to let me know. Would you have fired 60 Minutes correspondent Scott Pelley. Would you have fired him? 651-461-9226. Scott Pelley's been with CBS News. He was the anchor of the CBS Evening News. He was fired from that job, by the way. I don't think everybody lost their mind about that. But the context here matters. Scott Pelley, in a meeting with his new boss and the rest of the 60 Minute staff, basically told the new guy that he was unqualified and demanded explanations as to why two of the show's correspondents were fired and the leadership staff of 60 Minutes, why they were fired a couple of days before. Now, I know you guys think if you demand to know why someone was fired by a boss, that you, Larry in accounting, are probably going to get fired yourself. But newsrooms are a place where dissent is part of the bit, where arguing with the boss is part of the bit. That's sad. Telling the new boss that you think he's unqualified and that you think the head of CBS News is trying to, murder 60 Minutes. It would take an incredibly strong new boss to say, that's fine. Let him do it. Now, that'd be the power move, right? If you were Barry Weiss, the former New York Times opinion columnist who launched her own news organization, the Free Press, from scratch, the power move might have been saying like, who cares? Scott Pelley, say whatever you want. Keep cranking out killer stories for 60 Minutes. He said Barry Weiss was murdering 60 Minutes and that Nick Bilton, another guy with no TV news experience, would never be welcome. Would you fire Scott Pelley? I wouldn't, because I would have pulled the power move. The power move is to say, I can take the heat. You can criticize me. I don't care. What I care is that you serve our audience. And so, sure, be a pain in the butt. 4 things I know about newsrooms. 1, journalists hate new bosses. No matter who the new boss is, you hate him. They're going to screw it up. They're going to ruin the things it was always that we stand for. Number 2, journalists love themselves. Every single employee in a newsroom believes that they are more valuable individually than they really are. I say this as a former TV news anchor. I would say that I knew I was replaceable, but deep down I thought, man, they're going to be screwed when I'm gone. It's a business that's built on 25% sort of science type stuff, finding out facts, challenging information, logically analyzing a situation, and then maybe 75% there's performance. There's a little bit of showbiz, right? Number 3, it's not just a job, it's a calling. At least that's how people who work in journalism think about it. They talk about it as a vocation. And so as a regular consumer of journalism, if you've been following any of the conversation about Scott Pelley being fired, it's hard not to look at it and think, my God, like these people are insufferable. Talking about their work as if it's like the second coming of Jesus Christ. And they are a little insufferable. And 60 Minutes does work that changes policy, changes the direction of our government, of the world's governments. It does. Not always. It's not always great. It's pretty great. It's the number 1 news program on TV, the most profitable news program at CBS News. It's different. And the last point to me, and you are welcome to weigh in or disagree or agree on any of this. Number 4, politics does not motivate most journalists, but most journalists do have inherent political bias that they, to differing degrees, try to keep out of the work. The conversation about Scott Pelley being fired is as stupid as every conversation we have about everything today. The righties are celebrating. Thank God this blowhard left-wing CBS News mainstream media dinosaur is gone. The left wing is saying, what is Barry Weiss doing to CBS News? What's the truth? I don't know. I think you can find the truth in those 4 points that I just shared. 651-461-9226. Would you have fired Scott Pelley? Texters. Yes, automatic dismissal. Texter. I don't think you deserve to be fired. But I will say my favorite saying is that you can say anything you want on your last day. You can do anything once. Dan always tells me I can say anything I want on this show.
Anything you want on this show, you can do at least once.
Yeah. I admire Pelley and loved 60 Minutes. I am so proud of him for standing up against the ultra-right MAGA administration, trying to slant the information in Trump's favor. We do not need more biased journalism. I will say that the crux of mainstream media journalism, well, most mainstream media journalism is very fair, very boring, not political, and you guys aren't watching it. And the thing that gets people fired up is the whiff of bias in any story. You spread it to every person in your network who thinks exactly like you do, and then you come to the conclusion that CBS News is unbelievably liberal. Or today, people are saying CBS News is MAGA butt kissers. And I don't buy it. I will say this. I do think almost every journalist, working mainstream media journalist, especially at the network, votes Democrat, is liberal. Now, does that mean that that shows up in the work? I think we look at that in an overly simplistic way. The biggest way that that shows up in the work is in the story selection, the types of things that you find interesting. Groupthink, I think, is the bigger issue. Everybody comes from the same background, the same training. A lot of these people are blue blood, Ivy League kind of snooty rich kids, and they all think the same stuff. They think the same stuff is important. Is that like some left-wing or right-wing agenda? Kind of. I don't know. I think generally people can't point to a specific example. It's just this gut feeling. We've decided the media is a nightmare. And I was in it. I'm telling you that I get why people say that. I'm not straight up disagreeing about it. The new boss is a hatchet man for Barry Weiss and the Ellisons who bought Paramount and are big Trump supporters. Pretty simple. I'll tell you this. I would work for a raging right-wing boss and a raging left-wing boss. And I have worked for bosses who are on different ends of the political spectrum. What, for me, when I was a journalist, for what mattered to me is if they let me do my thing. If I do think today, though, being real about it, the media has strayed so far to the left that the idea of someone trying to do a center-left type news operation has people losing their mind. That is some sort of right-wing agenda. Do you watch CBS News? I don't think they're covering up for the Trump agenda. That's not what I see when I watch CBS Evening News, and certainly not when I watch 60 Minutes. I do think you hit a point in life where you're so rich that you have sort of screw you money, and you can tell your boss to screw you. And so I'm curious if you out there, how many of you are in the fire Scott Pelley camp? And how many are jealous that you could tell a boss? Would you like to tell a boss, screw you? Let's go to Pete in Bloomington at 651-461-9226. Pete, thanks for listening. Would you have fired Scott Pelley?
Yeah, I would have definitely considered it, but I'd like to check you on one statement you made a few minutes ago.
Sure, go for it.
most media being neutral or not, left or right leaning. I can't remember your exact words, but I think it would pay for any of us who believe that to look at the studies done by Columbia University, especially during Trump 1, where they basically did a keyword search on every mention of Trump's name in mainstream media, broadcast, print media, podcasts, etc. And no joke, 94% of the mentions were negative.
Yeah.
The other 6% were a split between neutral and positive. Columbia has redone that study numerous times, and to say the media treats him even-handedly is completely false.
Yeah.
The data is there.
No, I agree with you. I think the media, in some of what I can't quite tell, because we're in an era that is so quickly changing in the way that media is like trying to get attention, trying to make money, trying to get people to read their stuff, that I'm not sure if the media is serving up what people want to click on and want to read, or if this is like really well, some of this is Trump derangement syndrome, as the Trump supporters like to call it. And some of it also is like, let's be real, like the Trump era is so unprecedented and he cranks out so much stuff that, it's there's a lot of easy targets out there for the media. But I agree with your general premise, Pete. I don't, it would be curious if we had a left-wing president as like sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say flamboyant, but as like, media savvy as Trump is, to see like, would it be treated the same way? I'm not sure there's a parallel. Is there? Who's the parallel to what we've seen with Trump?
Well,
Obama was such a different media environment. We just didn't have there was such a fewer volume of news outlets.
Right. Well, I mean, they soft-handed Biden and all its failings for years, and that was no secret, and it gets proven out again and again and again.
No question. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Pete. I appreciate your clarification there. I do. I'm not saying there's no bias. I also think that people are looking for it and they want it to be there, and then you just find evidence.
Well, and it's I think you were trying to draw, and we got to hit a break, but you're trying to draw a distinction between individual journalists and newsrooms as a whole, which is kind of this nebulous gray area, right? Like one person may have certain leanings one way or the other as a journalist, but they're not necessarily the editor picking the stories or deciding where it's going to go and how it's going to be shaped. You know what I mean? It's people love to say the media is this, the media is that. And the truth of the matter is the media is all kinds of different stuff. And we just, lob everybody into one big bucket, and you just really can't do that in any kind of truth seeking way.
Would you want to tell off your boss? I do have one distinction that I want to make after the break. And that is that I think so many of you are analyzing this as if it were you telling off the boss. I have a slightly different perspective. And then I'm going to text my boss and tell him where to cram it and see how that works out for us. Drive Time may or may not be back after this.
Drive Time with DeRusha. Tuned up and rolling. Thanks to Luther Kia of Bloomington.
So when do you need to start thinking about a will? Find out at GutmanLaw.com. What is a living trust, and do you need this? Find out at GutmanLaw.com. What about a power of attorney or probate? We'll get all the answers to your questions when you schedule a free attorney consultation at, GutmanLaw.com. It's Jordana, and I didn't know the first thing about wills, living trusts, estate planning, but I didn't need to. All I did was reach out to my friend Matt Gutman and his partner Jamie Reth Wagner. This is their focus: wills, trust, probate, estate plans. Now knowing that my loved ones will be taken care of no matter what helps me sleep at night. Don't wait until it's too late to get these things taken care of. You can schedule a free, no-hassle consultation right on the website. Say it with me, GutmanLaw.com. GutmanLaw.com, giving you peace of mind today for tomorrow. It's not just a slogan. I sleep better at night now that I have my estate plan in place. Thanks to Matt Gutman and Jamie.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger, With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At EasyCater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With EasyCater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with EasyCater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Your daily detour into sharper conversation. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Baby, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it when we
If you are an all-star performer at your job, you get a longer leash. You get the ability to tell the boss that you think what the boss is doing is wrong. You see it in pro sports for sure. Do you think when Joe Mauer was in his all-star era, he couldn't tell a first base coach to cram it?
Joe wouldn't use that kind of language.
Of course
What's
not.
the matter?
He would have said,
How
like,
dare you even insinuate?
Anthony Edwards, you think
he would use that kind of language?
Byron Buxton says that he thinks the owners of the Twins disrespected him by not shutting down trade rumors. Remember that?
He did
From
say
spring
that.
training?
Yeah, he did say that.
Did he get fired for
Nope.
telling off his
No,
boss?
he didn't.
So it's different. I just think it's different. And texters are saying it's insubordination, plain and simple. Look, grow up. If you are the top performer at your workplace, I have a friend who is the number one sales guy at his company. He brings in more than half of the revenue single-handedly for this company. And this friend of mine is a jackass. And he has for sure told his boss worse things than what Scott Pelley is being accused of. So, and does he keep his job? Yes. Now, in this case, would I have done things like Scott Pelley? No. I think Scott Pelley was arrogant to not agree to meet with Barry Weiss and meet with the new boss before this all hands on deck staff meeting. And I think Scott Pelley was intentionally arrogant so he would get fired. I think Scott Pelley got what he wanted. I just think the way people are talking about this is nonsense. The idea that this is some victory because this out-of-touch news magazine is a dinosaur. CBS News 60 Minutes made television history by marking 52 straight seasons as America's number one news program. Reached more than 1 in 3 Americans. 9.1 million viewers on regular television. And on digital, the video views are up 185% year over year. So it's not a dinosaur. It's the only thing at CBS News that's working. It's it. So these new managers, I believe, are idiots. And this is another theme of our program today. We have 2 themes, media and crisis. We'll talk about the Star Tribune and their layoff announcement coming up in 30 minutes, next hour. We're going to talk about the Minneapolis Police Department in just a couple of minutes because we are in love with bringing in the outsider, right? We need a fresh perspective. We're a failing operation. We need to bring in somebody great. And all too often, we end up elevating the incompetent. We elevate people who have success in one area. And Barry Weiss, incredible success. Building the free press into a thing is amazing. Is that different from running a massive global television, digital, video news organization? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes bringing in the outsider works out. The risk works out. I initially saw Scott Pelley's pushback as a pushback against inexperience and incompetence. And if you have given your life, again, going back to my 4 things I know about newsrooms, to a pursuit of something that you think is bigger than just a job. It's not just a paycheck. It's a calling. You're doing something significant with your life. A lot of us have jobs, whether you're a teacher, whether you're in construction, building our city. You have jobs that you think are bigger than the paycheck, and they are. And so you feel disrespected. You feel disrespected. And so, what's the right move? Do you fight or do you resign? And I think there are just different kinds of people. Some are fighters and some are like, well, it's not my company. I'm going to leave and let them do their thing. Texters, Jason, I like 60 Minutes, but you can tell that he likes to push left-wing propaganda. And I think the new boss came in and said, we need to clear it out. You guys do know that the Wuhan, China angle to COVID was first reported by CBS News and 60 Minutes in the very early days of COVID. I just don't think it's as right wing or it's not as left wing as people want it to be. Good for Pelley. Journalism is a calling for him, not just an occupation, says a texter. Another texter, fire him. You're clearly creating a hostile workplace. You don't know if people in that room filed complaints. HR law applies to everyone. HR law applies when they want to apply it. We all have seen. Now, the question is Scott Pelley more important than that ticking clock in 60 Minutes? And the answer will largely be determined by what we see in the next season of 60 Minutes. They could hire new correspondents who do awesome work, and this will be just another firestorm of media members talking about other media members, and there's nothing. I should have included a number 5 on my list, that the number one thing the media likes to talk about is the media. And I just spent 30 minutes on it. Should I apologize? I don't think so. I appreciate all the texts. Good interaction. Let's break. In a minute, I want to talk about the Minneapolis Police Department. And this question: if you were the mayor, would you go internal, inside the city, or would you go out? Insider or outsider? We'll talk about it when we come back on Drive Time.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Let's talk about home and auto insurance. I have a question for you right now. Are you confident that you have the best coverage out there for your family, for your home, for your car? And maybe more importantly, considering the economic situation right now, are you confident that you're getting the best price for that coverage? It's Jason, and I had that same uncertainty. I had one insurance agent, one insurance agency, one company. It's what most of us have. You go to mom's insurance agent or you go to the gal down the street. The Canopy Group is different. They have 16 different insurance companies. All of them are awesome, and they're all available for you. But you don't have to do the comparison shopping. You just go to thecanopygroup.com. You can call as well if you want to. Do people still talk to other people, or do we just do it all online? 800-967-3389. I called. Kyle walked me through the process. It was quick and easy. We just talked about what my coverage was, how much I was paying, and he went to work. A couple days later, he gets back to me. He's like, I saved you $820, and here's where your coverage gets better on your house, and here's where your coverage gets better on your auto. See what they can do for you. There's no obligation. Why not reach out? You can get that quote online at thecanopygroup.com.
Why is everyone so quiet? What are we listening to?
Dude, it's News Talk 830 WCCO. Breaking news, smart conversation, hosts who get it. Vanita gets the morning going. Adam and Jordana have fun disagreements. Chad asks the best questions. Jason recaps the news day, and Henry keeps things going at night. It's Minnesota with a brain and a pulse. Huh.
Hey, what are we listening to?
Dude, it's News Talk 830 WCCO. Breaking news, smart conversation, hosts who get it. Vanita gets the morning.
I think you got the message.
Hey, now it's your turn. Help spread the word. News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at repairclinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
And your commutes are along the slow side, West 694, Highway 10, all the way into the area of Highway 100, 694 eastbound. You still got that stall off to the right near University Avenue. Highway 100 slows past Bass Lake Road. If you're going to be traveling on 394, slowdowns in place both directions between Park Place Boulevard and Minneapolis. USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. It's going to be crosstown eastbound, flowing nicely as make way between Cedar Avenue and the Mendota Bridge. Joey Peterson, News Talk ATO, WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Forecast time. It is beautiful out there today, isn't it? Let's get the latest from Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The showers and thunderstorms out west will finally make their way across the state overnight tonight. We'll fall back to 65. A few showers are possible in the morning. Should be dry for a good chunk of the day tomorrow as we warm up to 81. Scattered showers, thunderstorms tomorrow night into Friday. We'll have another round likely late Friday before we dry out this weekend. It's going to be humid and quite hot.
Clear right now. Sunny in St. Paul. It's 86 degrees here on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
I think it's absolutely flawless. Whoever's idea was that is a genius.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Man, I hope the Minneapolis police hire an internal candidate to be the next police chief. I think over the last week and a half, we've learned a lot about how disappointing the tenure was of Chief Brian O'Hara. And I got to say, I was wrong. I looked at the O'Hara years and really felt like the Minneapolis police were making major strides. And I do think he deserves a lot of credit for bringing in a lot of new police officers in a time when a lot of other officers were retiring. So you got a department in turmoil after the murder of George Floyd, after riots burning down part of the city, after many politicians and many Minneapolis residents openly said they didn't want police. You want to go work for that department? But Brian O'Hara did a pretty good job, I think, of trying to get new officers. The city council deserves credit as well for increasing the budget to be able to pay new recruits more money so Minneapolis could compete better. But remember when O'Hara kept doing these interviews where he said that politics in Minneapolis surprised him? Being from Newark, he thought that that was a left-wing city and he wasn't quite ready for how left Minneapolis was. Sort of this lack of understanding of the political environment in this city. Now, I've been thinking a lot about leadership and what we want in our leaders. We're going to have an opportunity to express our view on that at the ballot box in a couple of months. And I want boring people who do the work. I want a boring police chief. I want a boring chief who can focus on rebuilding the numbers of law enforcement officers. That is the number one thing that I think is important. I think the number two thing is more transparency within the city hall, city council area, and the agreement that Minneapolis made with the state to clean up their act. This was some of the reporting that came out from the Minnesota Star Tribune over the last couple weeks, revealing just how much the chief was, that his management style was seen as a major negative in trying to implement some of the reforms. Do you think we should have an insider or an outsider? 651-461-9226. I think we look for these outsiders to sort of save us, right? Oh, well, this guy knows how to implement reform. And one of the comments, and you guys know the details, right? Like he left his job after being accused of interfering in an investigation into his sort of extracurricular conduct with city employees. Some of the reporting has said that included a young female recruit. I mean, do we think the tight shirts is what was bringing in extra police officers into Minneapolis? I don't think so. But when the Star Tribune reached out to like the court-appointed independent evaluator who is supposed to be looking at the whole city and saying like, all right, is the city, how are we doing? The quote, often the chief was not an asset to the process. And some of the criticisms we make are attributable to the chief. The human rights commissioner said there was no meaningful change in the area of like having a culture that was self-correcting. She said the chief's leadership created a culture where officers don't feel like they can come forward to talk about problems. I think we need an we need an insider. We need someone who knows Minneapolis, who has proven by staying with this department through all that's happened over the last 5 years. Like, I think that says a lot that you still want to do this work. Barb is in Minneapolis. She's a former city council member. Hey, Barb, thanks for calling in. What you've had to make some of these decisions. What do you think, inside or outside?
Well, I served with I was counting at 5 different police chiefs, and 3, or actually 6. 3 of them were outsiders, and I'm sorry, 2 were outsiders, and the rest were internal. And I honestly think this is absolutely a time for an internal candidate. But it was funny that Chief O'Hara, and I did get to meet him and had coffee and lunch with him a couple times, and really a nice man. And I think he was the public face of the police department, which was really important for a while. That he did a lot of these scene things, where something had happened and he'd explain it, and he was very, very visible. And I think that was a good thing. But I will tell you that one of his predecessors, who was an outsider, Chief McManus, said the very same thing to me. That there was too much politics in Minneapolis, and he did not last very long.
Yeah.
So, and he was another great chief, So I think the people that have been in that position have been very, very quality people, and I really want to see some of the leadership that, as you pointed out, has stayed through the most troublesome times with the Minneapolis Police Department, continued to do the work, continued to serve the public, have a chance to be the police chief.
Is there too much politics in this, Barb?
There's too much politics in everything. And, we tried to, I think if I remember, we changed the charter. So there was a difference in the mayor's term and the police chief's term to try and create some distance between, an election and a new police chief. And that passed, but it wasn't enough. But
it's hard. It's a political. It's a political process. It just is. It's all. Yeah, I don't know.
You have 500 to 600,000 911 calls every year, which probably means that you meet 1,000, that the police department meets at least 1,000 people every year. Everyone has called because they have a problem. It's a tough job.
Thanks.
And I think most people do their best.
Yeah, thanks, Barb. I appreciate it. I think so, too. A texter says, Jason, I'm a retired MPD administrator. The insider chief, outsider chief debate happens in every major city in the country. It's nothing new. Well, and I think the fact that we have ping-ponged from one to the other, I totally get it. Let's go to Chris and Hamel. Chris, thanks for listening. Inside or outside, what would you do?
Well, I don't know, because I'll tell you what, you gave a really good reason why an insider. The challenging thing for an insider is if you've been there 30 years, if you have to clean up parts of the PD, it's really hard to discipline people who you've worked with in such difficult situations for years and years. And that's why large police forces, when they don't have someone who'll do that, that's why they get corrupt. Yeah. So if you can get someone who has thick skin and who can do that, and insider or outsider, and I'm sorry about the woman that you just had on there, what I'm going to say, you got to work for the student council, and I'm not sure who would take that job with half a brain.
Barb's former city council. I don't know if you intentionally said student council, but I like that. I've
been saying it for years.
I do think
about
it fits.
Minneapolis.
I do think it fits. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Chris. 651-461-9226. Paul says a good thing about O'Hara was that he was often on the scene for several incidents, not just talking about it from his office. I agree. And I do think that's an expectation in our world today when citizens are on scenes with their cell phones. And if you don't have the chief there, that's a failing. So that's, to me, that's price of admission. Texter, as a lifelong Minneapolitan, O'Hara's comment on the detached bourgeois liberal mentality in Minneapolis was spot on. I laugh every time I hear it. What the chief was talking about is the fact that Newark is a very democratic city, but it's also, I believe Newark has a majority people of color population. It's a very black city. Minneapolis is a very white city. And a lot of the loudest critics of the police are maybe on the lower end of being likely to need police response. And I think that's sort of the tension where it's pretty easy to say, we don't need this. I feel like this idea that we don't need police, we don't hear, hasn't this faded? I feel like it's mostly faded. What I hear more of is criticism of saying, look, we're blowing through overtime. Your job as chief is also to be a boring administrator. It's not just to be there when the TV camera shows up. And this is what I'm saying about wanting boring people who do the job. Because, yes, we need more officers, and the lack of officers is going to create an environment where you're going to have overtime. And your job is not to bring down the whole city budget because of your overtime. And does that mean sacrifices have to be made? Yes. Does that mean that you have to be able to explain those? Also, yes. Does that mean maybe we don't need to go to out-of-state trainings and spend money on travel? Probably. There are choices that have to be made. You just can't be going $20 million over your budget. Let's break. In a minute, I have so many things that I want to talk about, Dan. So many things going on today.
Too much show.
We've got updates on what is going on in Iran. We've got St. Paul deciding not to charge those church protesters. Let's do that. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I'm surprised, aren't you? Those protesters who stormed into a church during the immigration raid. We'll talk about that when we come back.
Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason here for my friend Chris Lindahl, and I want to give you an update as to what we're seeing and what Chris is seeing in the real estate market right now, and it's not good. It's not great if you're a seller. Not enough homes on the market. Buyers are flaking out because interest rates are going up again. Because of the lack of supply, people are able to be really picky, and they want a home that's not just move-in ready, it's Instagram ready. Do you have your home ready for that? Maybe not. And that's where the Big Red Check comes in. Chris Lindahl and the Big Red Check is available for you, for everyone. It's not just for people who need quick cash. It might be for people who don't want to deal with the headaches of selling a home. You've seen Chris on the billboards, and lately you've seen him with families and their Big Red Check. Why? It's because people don't want to deal with this stuff. They don't want to do all the work that's required to fix up your house. They don't want to have their home sitting on the market for months and then take price reduction after price reduction. It's happening a lot. And so when you say yes to a guaranteed cash offer, Chris takes all of the stress and all of the risk, and you get all the certainty. Check it out today. ChrisLindahl.com. You can make a call to 763-401-SOLD. Let's get you your Big Red Check. Terms and conditions do apply.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
With the warm days of summer almost here, you're going to want to have an AC in your house. Call Metro Heating and Cooling. We'll be happy to help you choose the AC system that's right for your home and wallet. Get a free estimate at metroheating.com. Metro Heating and Cooling of Maplewood.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
metroheating.com.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRusha. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Dingman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at LutherKiaofBloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Slowdowns place north 100, Highway 62 to 394. 694 is jammed up both directions right now between Shingle Creek Parkway and Highway 10. 610 eastbound got your slowdowns there as move between 169 heading over to Highway 252. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
You sit on your deck and you're sick of looking at your crappy siding. Type JTR on your computer for roofing, siding, gutters, windows, and more. JTR Roofing has you covered from the roof on down, serving the Twin Cities Metro. For a free estimate, visit jtrroofinginc.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
JTR Roofing bringing us the weather forecast tonight. Finally, some scattered showers and thunderstorms possible. Hard to believe looking out there right now. 65 is the low. Tomorrow, same bit with those scattered storms. 81 is the high. Friday, how about the same bit? Same chance of rain. Hot and humid this weekend, though. Right now, it's sunny and beautiful. 83 on CCO.
Where curiosity hits the gas. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
2-0, and the pitch is fouled right back to me.
Take it.
Got it. Catch. In and out, but I got it. Well, that was a long time coming.
Wow. Look at.
Oh, Justin Morneau gave me a maybe. I didn't catch it clean like you did, but I caught it.
Chris Atterbury during the Twins game, 8th inning. The Twins go down today, but a pretty fun moment. Have you ever caught a fly fly ball or foul ball or anything, Dan?
I've made an attempt.
Oh, no.
I've made an attempt. You
What?
want me to quick tell you this story?
Sure.
So this was back still in the Metrodome days, where we were producing all the Twins broadcasts here at WCCO Radio, including an experimental Spanish broadcast. And so me, who knows enough Spanish to get through the drive-thru at Taco Bell, is turning the dials for Tony Oliva, and somebody from Univision was calling the game. This again at the Metrodome in the owner's box. We're not even an actual press box. And it was, I'll never forget it. It was Angels versus the Twins. Johan Santana pitching to Darren Erstad, and Erstad rips the very first pitch of the game straight back. And I had enough time to go, ooh, that's getting up here in a hurry. Oh, that's coming right at me. I should get out of the way of this thing. I got Tony Oliva to my left, Dan Gladden to my right. No, I'm making a play on the ball, and I didn't break any bones in my hand, but I didn't make a clean catch either. I did get the ball.
You got the ball, though.
I got the ball.
So it went off your hand.
Hit my hand dead on to the point where...
How much did it hurt?
Well, I mean, so hand sort of went numb right away, so it didn't hurt right away. But John Gordon, so there's a pane of glass to my right, and John Gordon is in the other booth to beyond that. And at some point I hear him knocking on the window, and he looks over at me and mouths the words, "Show me your hand." And I held it up, and there was just a big red dot on the palm of my hand. And he sort of recoiled and went, "Oh." And about half an inning later, there's a tap on my shoulder. Gordo had gone down to the main level of the press box, gotten a hot dog bun bag, thrown a couple of handfuls of ice in it, tied it off, brought it back up, and said, "Here, put this on your hand," which is very nice of him.
It's very nice.
It's one of my favorite memories.
That's a great memory.
Yeah. And that ball is now sitting on a bookcase in my apartment.
Oh, I love that. That's pretty good. Atterbury sounded a little bit like a fourth grader who caught the ball, right? Like, so proud. I did it.
Look, Dad, I got it.
I've always worried, and we're going to delay this conversation now about the same. This is what I do. I'm like, I got two topics that I'm interested in, and we're going to wait is what we're going to do. I've always worried I would be that guy that would be on ESPN where like the ball came towards me and Alyssa, and I like flinch in horror.
You bail and Alyssa gets smoked by the foul ball?
Yeah. Well, why do you assume she wouldn't have caught it?
I would assume she wouldn't be trying. I don't know.
I was going to say, you've met Alyssa. It's very safe.
I know. I mean, it's, there was another video just the other day of Dad holding the baby and just reaches out with the one hand and bang, just snags it.
Is that like peak manliness?
I don't see how you top it. The one-handed grab while you're holding the kid.
If you were holding a kid and a beer and
That's
still grabbed it, that might be the best. There is something about the fact that baseball, and the last time I was at a Twins game, we were there with my two young nephews.
Sure.
One who threw out the first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys, they love baseball. And they're like me when I was a kid. They bring their mitt to the game. I would bring my mitt. I used to keep score. Every game I went to, I had to buy a scorecard.
Yeah.
Get the little mini golf pencil. Needed a program. Usually I wanted a program.
Program?
Never caught a ball, though. Never. I mean, we've caught some during batting practice.
And that's the thing. I've had some come close while I'm in the stands, but never really within my arm's reach necessarily. But in the press box, it's been like 3 or 4 of them.
Huh. Funny.
I had one.
It's because it's straight back. Maybe it's in the
maybe.
right location.
I guess. I mean, but like even some of the seats that we're blessed to get here at CCO are in an area where it should be. And I just don't. I had one knock a laptop closed. Bounced off of the front counter up, hit my laptop, closed my laptop.
Yeah.
I would have taken it right in the teeth if the laptop wasn't there, and the laptop kept working. So I lucked out.
What I don't think is fair is when you go to other sporting events, they don't let you keep the ball.
No, you can't keep like a football or a basketball.
Soccer ball, none of it.
Come on.
Let them keep the ball. How much does a football cost for the NFL?
The NFL's making plenty of money. They can afford another football.
I do like it. There's certain games you see players like throwing them. You're like, oh, it's giveaway day. Or on Sunday, Kids Day, I usually see the coaches throwing them back more to the fans. Pretty cool. We'll talk about the fact that nobody gets charged for this St. Paul Church, quote unquote, protest. We'll do that after ABC and local news. Continental Diamond time check is 4:58.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Still live, still local, still listening. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen.
On this vote, the yeas are 250.
For the first time since the war with Iran began, House lawmakers passing a war powers resolution to limit President Trump's use of U.S. forces without a declaration of war or authorization. That vote's symbolic, but shows a growing number of Democrats and Republicans now who don't agree with the president's handling of the war, now in its 4th month. President Trump telling reporters he believes a deal with Iran is getting closer and brushed off concerns that the ceasefire won't hold after the Pentagon shot down Iranian drones targeting U.S. forces in Kuwait.
On this,
yeah, we could go another 2-3 weeks and just wipe everybody out. I'd rather not do that. Very easy to do. They're ready to do it. They want to do it. They want to do it. But if we can get something down in writing, which will accomplish the same thing without killing everybody, I'd like to do that.
In the wake of another Supreme Court decision that weakened parts of the Civil Rights Act, justices issued a decision today in an Alabama case allowing the state to use a 2023 congressional map for midterms elections. California's primary race for the LA mayor is still being tallied. Incumbent Karen Bass receiving enough votes to move on to November's runoff election, but Republican Spencer Pratt leads other candidates to become the opposing candidate. ABC political director Avery Harper has more.
It is a warning shot to Karen Bass, the fact that she has to go to a runoff at all. It hasn't been for, at least a couple of decades that an incumbent mayor in Los Angeles has had to go to a runoff because they did not clear that 50% threshold. And we know this is all coming amid widespread criticism of Karen Bass's handling of those fires in LA that just devastated parts of the city.
The governor's race also still undecided. Excitement is building for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The San Antonio Spurs hosting the New York Knicks. Tip-off now just a few hours away. It's a repeat of the 1999 finals between both teams. You're listening to ABC News.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Mostly cloudy, 83 degrees at 5:02. I'm Laura Oakes. Local and federal law enforcement agencies are again partnering in Minneapolis this year for Operation Safe Summer. It's the 5th year of the operation, targeting individuals known to commit violent crimes. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
Clean up the streets, make them safe, operate constitutionally and with urgency, and do everything possible to get narcotics off the street, get drugs off the street, get guns off the street, and make sure that perpetrators of these violent crimes are held accountable.
The St. Paul City Attorney's Office has declined to bring state criminal charges against demonstrators who disrupted a January service at City's Church. The group was protesting because one of the church's pastors served as the local ICE field office director. City Attorney Irene Cow says in a statement the decision should not be interpreted as an endorsement of unlawful behavior or public disorder, adding that the right to peacefully protest is protected, as is the right to exercise one's religious beliefs. Federal charges are still being considered. We have an update on that school bus crash into a building on the Hamline University campus yesterday. The 3 children who were taken to the hospital have been released now. A lawyer for the bus company says the driver was new on the job and mistakenly pushed his foot on the gas instead of the brakes.
He also says the driver has completed several months of training, including both classroom-style instruction and behind-the-wheel experience. The Minnesota Vikings introducing their new general manager, Nolan Teasley.
Coming from the Seattle Seahawks, Teasley was part of 9 playoff teams, 3 Super Bowl appearances, and 2 titles.
It was always going to take a special opportunity to leave a special place in Seattle. And as I progressed through this process, it became very clear that the Minnesota Vikings were just that. They were that opportunity.
Although he feels the current roster is very strong and the team is ready to compete, the work starts now.
We're going to be guided by evaluation. We're going to be anchored by data. And then the final piece, kind of as we work through our 3 pillars of acquisition and evaluation, is that what's really important is the coach's vision for the player. And that's, in simplest terms, how we're going to operate.
Ari Bergeron, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Amtrak's Borealis train service from Minnesota to Chicago is celebrating 2 years in operation, where officials say ridership has exceeded expectations by 50%. Moving forward, Chair of the Great River Rail Commission, Chris Myers, says she's most pleased with $19 million in track upgrades between Winona and La Crescent.
Most people who live in Winona know there's many railroad crossings, and it isn't uncommon to be late to things because there was a train. And so all those track upgrades are going to help us with some of those issues as well. So that's a fabulous thing for us.
Meyer also says there's talk about adding a second Borealis train in the future.
I doubted it,
Why?
Laura.
You doubted the train.
Yeah, I mean,
I see.
I doubt it. Not your story.
No, I thought you were doubting the second train.
No,
Okay.
but I doubted that people would want to take the train from here to Chicago.
I love it.
Have
I
you
want to
taken
do it. No, but I want to.
I think that it's so easy to drive there. It seems almost crazy to take the train.
But it's scenic and it's just slow and no stress. And I think it would be wonderful to just watch the world go by for 5 hours.
Well, I think so too, for like one time every 3 years.
Right. It's
that
a
doesn't
novelty.
seem like a very viable. Now up 53%, then good for them.
Yep.
That's great. It shows there's an appetite out there. I think it's difficult in the center of the country, right, to have a train that makes the sort of sense it does on the East Coast. But
I think I heard months ago that it's very popular with college students and college students' families who, are maybe going to Madison.
I used to take
I
used to take the train from Milwaukee to Chicago
Right.
when I was going to college. So
Yeah.
'cause I was broke.
Yeah.
And didn't have a car up there.
Trains are cool.
Are we building a train line, though, for the college kids who are going to Madison? Does this make sense? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm glad that people are using it. I'm glad about that.
Me too. It's 5:06 on CCO.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
West 394 slows, move past Plymouth Road, heading out into Wayzata, traveling along 94 eastbound into St. Paul. Get ready for slowdowns back at Lexington. Highway 36 westbound, watching slowdowns there as you come away from Edgerton, heading out to 35W, 494 on the slow side, both directions, basically between Cedar Avenue and Highway 100. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
B&M Tree Services, certified arborists offering tree trimming, storm cleanup, and full tree removal with professional service at prices you can afford. Call 1-800-569-9034 or visit bnmtree.com. Trusted, professional, reliable.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by B&M Tree Service. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The showers and thunderstorms out west will work their way toward us overnight tonight. Just some scattered showers by morning as we fall back to 65. Scattered showers and thunderstorms possible tomorrow. Better chance of it later in the day into the night. 81 will be the high. Same goes for Friday. Those showers will clear out. We dry out this weekend.
Mostly cloudy right now, 83 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Asking better questions, getting better answers. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha, fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
So can anybody just bust into a church and protest whatever you want now? You heard the news from Laura. The top of the hour, the St. Paul city attorney said not enough evidence. Not enough evidence. The whole thing's on tape. What is going on?
Now shut up and drive.
What do you think is going on? 651-461-9226. I thought for sure they'd write like a trespassing ticket, right? Something minor. And not that trespassing is minor. Jason, how dare you? Would you be fine if protesters trespassed in your house? This is not the most important issue when it comes to crime in our state's capital city of St. Paul. I do not want the St. Paul city attorney to be spending a ton of time prosecuting the goofballs who thought it was a good idea to storm into a church. And you remember this story. This is the St. Paul church that supposedly one of their pastors was like a high up guy working for ICE in the St. Paul field office. Now, when this happened, we condemned it. I condemned it. Dan condemned it. You absolutely have the right to stand up outside a church and protest. Stand on the sidewalk, stand on the street. But storming into a church, disrupting the service, to me is over the line. I think to almost everyone, it's over the line. Doesn't matter what point you're trying to make. We don't even have to get into the merits as to whether or not it is even valid to protest the fact that some guy has a job. Actually, let's. Screw you guys. These protesters are so self-righteous. I just absolutely disagree with them. But I absolutely will defend their right to be wrong and protest on public property. Now, going into a church, that's tough. That is tough to prosecute. So I reached out today because you heard Laura with some of the statements. We had, was it Taylor reporting on this as well, some of the statements from the attorneys for the church. And everybody wants to make this into this is an anti-Christian situation. We all have to turn everything into a dang, what's your big picture, conspiracy that the world's against us. So tiring. But that's what's going on. So the attorneys for the church are disappointed. Fine. But what no one had been saying is well, what do you actually think that the state, what should these folks be charged with? And so True North Legal responded to me and said that the city attorney in St. Paul could have charged trespass and interference with religious observance. And I just thought a trespass ticket. And Dan and I were talking about this before. It's a trespass ticket seems like it would make sense, right?
Well, and that's usually
when
you have protests that turn into arrests, right? It's public disorderly conduct, public nuisance, whatever.
Yes.
It's initial charge that gets pled down to something very
It almost
minor.
always goes away to nothing.
Exactly.
Let's be real.
So, and that's my problem with deciding not to charge them at all, is that's the usual process, right? There's charges, there's the demonstration. Hey, this is illegal what you're doing. And so we're going to charge you, and then we'll plead it out or figure out a way, there'll be some community service or something where it becomes kind of a nothing burger. But there's the initial statement still needs to be made. Hey, you can't do this. Because as we had somebody on YouTube saying, you're in the news story, the city's saying, well, this shouldn't be seen as permission giving to go ahead and do this. That's exactly what this is.
Sort of feels like it.
100% people are going to look at it that way. Whether you intend it that way or not is irrelevant, St. Paul. This is absolutely going to be seen in that direction. And I think, especially when you're talking about churches, you're talking about places that are trying to be as open as possible to serve as many people as possible, to not offer them that simple protection of saying, no, you can't just bust in and interrupt the service and not leave when you're asked to leave. I mean, what are you doing? I don't think that's, some sort of woke anti-Christian nonsense. I just think that's poor policy.
Mark is the one who said we're now telling people you can protest in any church. We're not telling people that, but part of why you charge things is to say we're not okay with it.
Yeah.
Now, there are some practical problems with charging with trespass here. And so the True North lawyers said they would like, and they sent me the state statute, 609.28, interfering with religious observance. And you know me, Dan, what do I love more than just about anything in the world?
Breaking down statutes?
Oh, hell yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, I've put it up on the screen. And so the problem with this interfering with religious observance statute is that it's a gross misdemeanor. You have to intentionally and physically obstruct any individual's access to or egress from a religious establishment. I watched the video of that interaction. That's a tough proof. I don't know that it's that. Now, trespassing, that's got challenges too, because as a texter points out, can you really trespass in a church? Isn't it open all the time to everyone? And it kind of is. You know, though, that the intent of these folks was not to be attending a church service. That said, like, aren't you allowed to go to any church service you want? It makes it a little challenging. I would have charged the lowest level thing that I could, because I also would ask this church if they're more about vengeance or more about forgiveness in this scenario. Why is it so important to have this charge? There's already a federal prosecution going on, so it's not like these folks are consequence free. Now, will the federal prosecution be successful? Again, like, it's going to run into some of these same challenges. I think we just have to be super clear that this is idiotic behavior, unacceptable. And is there some law? To me, it feels important to find some way to charge people with something.
I mean, disorderly conduct, however you want to do it. There's all kinds of ways.
Even if it gets bounced.
Exactly. Still to at least, make a public declaration that, hey, this is not what we want in our society. Yeah, churches are open to anybody. Anybody can come in. But if you're disruptive of the service, you are going to be asked to leave most churches. Right?
Yes.
They'll be kind about it, and they'll hopefully, give you all kinds of rope to before they actually, say, hey, you have to physically leave the building. But at some point, you're going to be asked to leave, and churches should have every right in the world to say, no, we can't just have people in here disrupting the service. People are trying to worship, and that's a constitutionally protected thing.
I think the lesson for churches is that they need to be very explicit if something like this happens and instruct the people to leave.
Yeah.
And in this case, the preacher did an interview with Don Lemon. Well, that's not exactly telling people to leave. So if you want to be clear about it under the law, maybe you need to be more clear about it. Easy for me to say, I'm not a prosecutor, but you had to know as the city attorney, you're like, oh, I'm going to get it for this one, right? Sometimes I wonder, and maybe it's morality and ethics and whatever, but like, just file the charge. Just file the charge. Why are we going to make this one the line in the sand where we're like, well, we don't have enough evidence. Like, well, just file the dang charge. County attorney may have had a different opinion if her grandkids were in there and the protesters blew whistles in their ears. It was traumatizing for many people. I also think we could dial it down. Like, it was awful. It was annoying. It was almost universally condemned. So we don't need to play like we're the victim and, oh, boo-hoo, society hates us, and why are we allowing this? Texter, could you imagine if conservatives did this at an abortion clinic? Yeah, I can, because that has happened.
Because they did, yeah.
And that is explicitly against the law. The federal charge where these folks are being charged is a law that was created to be a protection against abortion clinics because this was happening. And the law was amended by Republicans to include church. So congrats to everyone on their performances and getting these things in the law. And now everybody gets to have a performance here. That said, I do think, did anybody run a red light? Like, is there something we could charge these guys with? 518. In a minute, Iran. We screwed this up big time. And today, the Secretary of State says the war is over. The House of Representatives, with a couple of Republicans thrown in, just voted to say we want it to be over. We'll talk about it now.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
This morning, I drove to Roseville to take Alyssa to Tureen Dermatology. It's Jason here for my friend, Dr. Mohiba Tureen, her incredible team at Tureen Dermatology. Alyssa was there because she gets a full-body skin checkup twice a year. Why twice? I go once a year. She goes twice a year because this is what happens when Dr. Tureen treats your dad and your dad has all sorts of skin cancer. That's the care, though. Dr. Mohiba Tureen is like, I want to make sure that Alyssa doesn't get anything that pops up that could develop into trouble. Full body skin checkup, sunscreen, so important. Now, feeling confident in your skin is important as well. And June is Acne Awareness Month. I don't know about you guys. When I was a teenager, it was pimple fest on my face. Tureen Dermatology knows that acne and acne scarring, man, it affects your confidence. It just does. It affects your daily life. But you don't have to go through this alone. There are so many different options that the board-certified dermatology team can provide personalized treatment just for you. They helped out both of my teenagers. Game changer for both of them. And yes, that acne did not go away for me when I'm 51 years old. Enough. Give me a break. Tureen Dermatology.
Oh, that's at 5:30.
Oh, enough. I think I may have a little pimple. TureenDermatology.com. TAREEN dermatology.com. New patients, they'll see you within 3 weeks.
This summer, make the lake more than a place you visit. Make it where the kids learn to cast a line. Where sunset cruises turn into family stories. Make this summer the one your family remembers with Bennington. Bennington is Minnesota's #1 selling pontoon brand. And right now, there's over 500 boats in stock at trusted dealerships across the state. Built for cruising, fishing, entertaining, skiing, and water sports, Bennington gives Minnesota families premium comfort, craftsmanship, and the kind of quality you can feel every time you step on board. New Bennington pontoons start at $29,999, and Tri-Tunes start at $49,999, with affordable monthly payment options and competitive financing available. During the month of June, mention this ad and receive $500 off your next Bennington purchase from participating Bennington dealers, including Frontier Marine, Hallberg Marine, Mankato Motorsports, Power Lodge, Miller Marine, Rays Marine, River Valley Marine, and Westries Marine of Wilmer. Bennington. Minnesota summer starts on the water.
Nobody wants to sell their house for almost the most money possible. You need marketing behind you, and nobody markets homes better than the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty. It's Vanita here. Scott and Kathleen from Edina knew that they needed to sell their home for the most money possible to fund their move. They were fed up after our brutal winter and needed the most money possible to afford their dream home somewhere warmer. They interviewed agents, and John's marketing system stood out to them. The Good Neighbor Agents marketing system sells homes for top dollar, reaching thousands of potential home buyers. John's marketing got them 3 massive offers in less than 72 hours. Their home sold for more than $50,000 over the asking price. Are you curious what your home is worth? That's how it starts. Just type in your address on johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha.
He's known for the slow burn. He wanted to keep it organic, and I'm still begging for it. More controversy.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Tarullo, you keep telling us how we're winning this war. The president keeps saying,
well, the war's over.
Completely annihilated. The war is not over. And yet the American people see how we're losing.
War is not over. It's been another violent day in the Mideast, and it's a head scratcher There is a reason that for so many years, American presidents chose not to attack Iran. And all that you've heard about the reasons that the Trump administration have gone after Iran, they're all valid. They're all the same reasons that have been around for more than 50 years. Iran has declared war on America. Iran wants to kill Americans. Iran wants a nuclear weapon. Iran is close to a nuclear weapon. All of this has always been true. It's one reason why we haven't done it. It's because that American military leaders have been wargaming this out. You guys know this happens, right? We don't just launch an attack. You game theory it out. How's it going to go? I am not a Mideast policy expert. I know this comes as a shock to a lot of you. But even I would have predicted that Iran would have tried to stop the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. And that is exactly what has happened. It has been 3 months since we thought that we achieved our goal by killing their leadership, by killing the Ayatollah. We thought we were going to have regime change. We thought we were going to paralyze them. It was going to be shock and awe. It was going to be done. We didn't. And even with the regime adjustment that was achieved, they outsmarted us. We thought by attacking, and this is confirmed by quite a bit of new reporting in the New York Times today, but we thought by attacking their mine launching, mine deploying ships near the strait, that then they'd be hosed. But instead, they've been launching missiles at ships in the strait from land and drone. And today has been a pretty big escalation. For the first time, the House today approved a war powers resolution that would stop the war against Iran. Handful of Republicans joined with Democrats saying, look, this has been going on for 3 months. Gas prices are too high. We're done. 4 Republicans joined. I mean, it's still pretty split, right? 215 to 208 was the vote. And, you know, so what? At a certain point, I think you look at this and say, what is this practically going to do? But it's a pretty big moment. It's a pretty big moment where it's not just lefties who are mad at anything that Donald Trump does. It's a number of Republicans, including, as we were talking about earlier today, Dan, like the right-wing sort of, podcast sphere, the manosphere, the Megyn Kelly-osphere. They're pretty pissed. And for me, I'm mostly irritated that something went wrong in the planning, that we either thought that they were going to be so impressed by our military might, or that we were so overwhelmed with our success in Venezuela.
I think that's a huge part of it. I think that
we're feeling hot.
Well, and it was so successful, right? I mean,
it was.
That Venezuela operation could not have gone better. And perhaps there was a little bit of overconfidence in some of the leadership because, again, you talk about the reporting behind the scenes, that there was a whole bunch of folks telling administration officials, hey, military folks saying, this isn't going to go that way, that this is going to be very complicated. And, is there a way to maybe do some things? Maybe, but, there's going to be a whole lot more fallout from this than there was in Venezuela. And that's exactly how it's gone.
Now, we heard Marco Rubio testifying today. And that was Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. But Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, saying the war with Iran is over. Well, somebody call Kuwait, because Kuwait and Bahrain have both been slammed by Iranian missiles and drones today. Kuwait's only international airport was hit. The video shows like the terminal's on fire, big hole in the roof. Somebody was killed in this attack. So this is what Iran is doing. And here's the kicker, because I have had listeners, texters, sharing this self-defense bit that the United States is doing. We're defending ourselves. They started it. And indeed, they did start it 50 some years ago. I mean, yeah. But for 50 plus years, we have said, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it because we know that they don't care. They will commit economic suicide if they need to and cut off their own ability to transport oil. I think what we missed this time is the fact that you can destroy a lot of their military infrastructure. Although I think a lot of questions about how successful our last attack in Iran was. But they've got drones and they're cheap and they're effective and you can go stick it to Kuwait, no problem. Anybody that helps the United States, and the rest of the world hasn't come to our aid. The rest of the world is like, this is Trump's problem. We knew this was what was going to happen. And so you guys figure it out.
And I think that's, you sort of touch on what a big part of the problem with this whole operation has been. If you recall, we were waiting for here's the big presidential address with the explanation of why we're doing this. And these, this is the reasoning, this is the rationale. And that didn't come till a couple of weeks in. Yeah. And even at that point, there was half a dozen different explanations. Well, did we go in and do this because they've been murdering people for the last 50 years? Did we go in and do this because they were going to have a nuclear weapon in a couple of weeks? Did we go in and do this because of the other 10 reasons that the administration get right? There was never any clarity to the mission, which is why it is a big part of the reason why it's been so universally opposed by the American electorate. I mean, the last polling I think I saw was somewhere 70% of people are against this. And some of, like you said, some of the president's biggest supporters are saying, no, wait a minute, you ran saying no more Middle East war. And now we're there and there's not a real clear explanation. As much as he says you can't have a nuclear weapon, our own intelligence is saying they weren't anywhere near it. So it rings so hollow as to why this is happening. And now he's in this position where now you've got Congress pressuring him, which is kind of shocking because Congress has totally ceded its own authority. But now you finally have Congress stepping in and say, you have to get this over with because it's just a boondoggle.
I'm not mad that the United States took action against Iran. I'm mad that we're losing, that we're going to end this thing at exactly the same spot we were before we started it. And that's what, for me, is frustrating. And that, to me, is another indication of this administration having this sort of hubris that they can do whatever they want to do, and we don't really believe in the experts. And so we're going to do it our way. And you see this with every appointment that gets made. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Which leads us to, what are you frustrated with? From the serious to the sublime, the silly, we need more silly. Do I have enough today? What have you had enough of? 651-461-9226. Light up the phone lines, light up the text lines, anything that's grinding your gears. I want to hear about it. You can send us a voice message too. If you're listening live on the Odyssey app, hit the microphone. That recording will come right to us. You could just send us a voice memo too. You can send it to Jason at Odyssey, AUDACY.com. Enough in just a minute.
Drive Time with DeRusha is fueled by Luther Kia of Bloomington. Go see Dan Dingman and the crew today, or always online at lutherkiaofbloomington.com.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Audient Hearing.
Tesla is building sales momentum in China, where the China Passenger Car Association reported that Tesla notched its sixth straight month of year-over-year sales gains on an increase of 36% in April. A pair of factors aiding that gain were the low sales from a year ago, as well as a higher mix of Tesla's China-made EVs being exported to Europe. Tesla makes the Models 3 and Y in China. I'm Jason Brooks.
At Audient Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audienthearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Jason here with a question for you as we get closer to the weekend. What's for dinner? What are you guys having for dinner? Minnesota pork should be a part of that equation. I love this time of year, don't you? Backyard gatherings. This weekend's going to be so great for hanging out with friends. Pork always turns up the flavor. If you go to tastewhatporkcando.com, you'll find recipes all over the place. Those summertime hangouts are just built for perfect, smoky, fabulous ribs. How about a juicy pork burger? Oh, yeah. 3,000 family farmers. That's what we're supporting with tender pulled pork bowls. Yeah, there's a recipe for that right at tastewhatporkcando.com as well. We know that pork is versatile. It's affordable, especially, and boy, is it craveable. Backyard classics, new favorites. What are you doing with Minnesota pork this weekend? Go to your grocery store. Go to your butcher shop. Remember, you're supporting that history of agriculture that's so important to the state of Minnesota. TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com, and let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Gas prices are up. Luther Kia of Bloomington is there for you. It's Jason DeRusha. I love my Kia, and I love Dan Dingman and his team, plus their brand new facility. More room, more service bays, more Kia excellence. EVs, hybrids, the red hot 2027 Telluride. I just test drove it. It is awesome. Get to 35W and 494 and check out 0% financing on Sportages and Sorrentos at LutherKia.Bloomington.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Well, it's an injury crash with a multi-car wreck as you travel West 694 near Rice Street. Traffic down to a single lane, using the left lane to make its way past the crash. Things are backed up into the 694 35E common, so give yourself probably 10 to 15 on that drive right now. Things stop and go through that stretch. North 35E to West 694 is jammed up as well. If you're going to be traveling South 35E, got some slowdowns. Highway 36 to Maryland Avenue. 35W southbound slows right out of downtown, heading down to 42nd Street. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn McCreevy invites you to a free seminar for pre-planning your funeral and cremation services to help protect your family in the future. Enjoy food, visit with speakers from the Robbinsdale Chapel Thursday, June 18th at 11:30 a.m. at Pub 42 New Hope. Information at washburnmccreevy.com or 612-377-7841.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
All right, let's do that forecast. Thank you to Washburn McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services. My friend Bill McCreevy, awesome guy. Great team at Washburn McCreevy. Let's check in with Chris Schaefer.
The showers and thunderstorms out west will finally make their way across the state overnight tonight. We'll fall back to 65. A few showers are possible in the morning. Should be dry for a good chunk of the day tomorrow as we warm up to 81. Scattered showers, thunderstorms tomorrow night into Friday. We'll have another round likely late Friday before we dry out this weekend. It's going to be humid and quite hot.
82 and sunny in beautiful St. Joseph, Minnesota here on CCO.
The ride home deserves better conversation. Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I have had enough. Enough is enough. Enough.
Oh, it's one of our favorite times of the week. It is your chance to call in or text in and tell us what's grinding your gears. You've just had enough. Sometimes in life, nobody will listen. Nobody will listen to your enough. No one will take your criticism. And now's your chance. 651-461-9226. Should we start with a couple texters? I have had enough of school. A student texts in. St. Paul Public School still has one more week to go, and my building has no air conditioning. We have all had enough. Oh, man. This week of school, it's got to be the worst week of school of the year, right? Like, every kid, and you know what's going on in school right now. You go to school, and you got one teacher who is giving you a test, and then the rest of the teachers, you're watching movies that they're trying to pretend have some sort of educational mission to them. How much teaching can be going on this week? Now, I understand the problem. If you move the end of the school year to the end of May, well, then that final week is going to be the garbage week. Like, no matter what you do, maybe year-round school is the only way to avoid the garbage week, but to have it so hot, it's pretty hot, a little sticky. Yeah. Shout out to the teachers going through it. One more texter, and I got a good one. I have two enoughs for you. I've had enough of drivers not waving when you let them into merge. I remember when I was young, it was a common courtesy to give them a wave if somebody let you in. Now, I wonder, I still wave, but sometimes when I wave, I think, are they going to think I'm giving them the middle finger? Like, do they know that this is a wave of like a, hey, thanks, buddy? Well, what gets you more annoyed? Is it the no wave when you let somebody in, or is it the no thank you when you hold the door open for somebody? These are similar scenarios for me that both irritate me. I have in the past been known to say, "You're welcome." And it's just, I'm having a bad day when that comes out of my mouth. Let's talk to Jeff in Sauk Rapids. Jeff, I was going to say that I've had enough of callers named Jeff after yesterday during the show. We had three Jeffs in a row, but I could never have enough of your call.
We set a record.
It was nice. It's nice to see. I love a record.
Yeah. I have had enough of woke.
Oh.
I don't understand the concept.
Yeah.
I've had enough of the word. I've had enough of contemporary society bastardizing the English language with phony words. How long has woke been around? How long have we been using that term?
It's a good question. The word
5-6
origin.
years.
Yeah, I mean, it's woke was officially added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary in 2017.
Oh, okay.
In 2008, singer Erykah Badu popularized the phrase "stay woke," but originally the history of it was a positive term used in the Black community where it meant like be alert to injustice, be alert to racial. It was a positive thing. And now, well, now you know what it is. It's a,
As you know,
it's a
I'm a
pejorative.
grammarian.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, all these years, and I still don't understand what the hell it means. I want everybody to shut up with woke.
I like it. I like it. Thanks, Jeff. 651-461-9226.
On-air show meeting.
Sure.
The second of your 2 videos I've got.
Oh.
The first one isn't working.
All right.
So I don't know if that changes how you want to do this, but
it does.
Okay.
But I am going to present my enough.
Okay.
I've had enough of today's experience with the car wash because, frankly, I almost did not have enough of that experience. When I got to the car wash today, and I'm an unlimited member, I'm a fan of a car wash. I'm a simple man. What I want in life is a new car every 6 months and a car wash every day.
For 6 months?
Yeah, I would like a new. I get bored. I want a new car.
Wow.
I'm going to Luther Kia Bloomington to get a new car for this week.
Okay.
This is the best endorsement I've ever had in my life. So I pull in at the car wash. I feel very proud of myself for correctly aiming the car right on those tracks.
Right.
It feels like, it must be like what a golfer feels like when you hit a hole in one. When you just pull right onto that conveyor belt perfectly.
Or like a 20-foot putt that just arcs perfectly, you know?
So I pull on the thing and then I'm just sitting there and nothing's on, nothing's moving. And there's nothing sadder than a limp car wash without the big kind of, microfiber snuffleupagus thing moving around. And so now you're always going to think about snuffleupagus.
Yeah, I really
next
am.
time you're in there. So I'm sitting, and then the young woman who's working there gets out the water gun, and she starts hosing down my car. Now, that is a level of service I'm not used to at the car wash, which indicated to me that she was killing time, that something was going wrong.
Something seriously had happened.
And then
broken
finally,
down.
she's like, someone's stuck in there. I'm like, all right. I waited for 10 minutes.
Wow.
And then they started it up. And where was there to go? There were
That's
other
just
cars
it.
behind me.
Once you're committed, you're there.
There's no escape hatch. So then they started up. And by the way, you can see the video evidence of all of this in my Instagram stories at DeRusha J.
Got to do it for the gram.
And they started up, and then I'm going, and then it's pretty good. And then it stopped again. It stopped again with me stuck in the car wash. Now, all this stuff stopped. It's not like it was a perpetual cycle of hot wax.
Yeah, everything just sort of shuts down. Yeah.
But then you're like, I guess I live here now.
Now you're really stuck.
Finally, though, after another couple of minutes.
We're back, baby. We're back. Get me out of here. Get me out of here.
Car washes. Dead to me. Until tomorrow. I'll go get another car wash. Keep them coming. Lots of good texts coming in. Yes.
I have perhaps the most first world problem enough.
Love it.
Which we'll get to after the break.
Excellent. More enough. Keep your complaints coming. The complaint department is open here on CCO. 651-461-9226.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha on News Talk 830 WCCO.
You know that summer is right around the corner. It feels like summer, right? We may as well just say it. Summer's here. And summer comes with so much activity. It's Jason for Livia. Livia is sort of my secret weapon. A lot of people ask me, because people know about my weight loss. Livia helped me lose 45 pounds, and I joined in the summer. They helped me lose 45 pounds. Maybe more impressively, they've helped me keep that weight off for almost 4 years now. Pretty awesome. But the magic of Livia is that it has unlocked a new life. More energy, better sleep, more confidence, overall health is better. Livia has evolved over the last 17 years. Yeah, they've helped tens of thousands of people lose weight, but they're also helping you achieve your best self. It's a total one-on-one support, wellness, personalized nutrition operation that helps you find lasting results. The question to think about is this: what could change by the 4th of July? What could you change? Yeah, you could lose up to 15 pounds by the 4th of July, but what could you gain? Reach out to my friends at Livia, livia.com. You know what? They said, what the heck? If you join today, we're giving you 8 weeks free. They believe so much in what they're doing. So do I. Livia.com.
We interrupt this program for the following important announcement. Attention, Minnesota. The Twins game is approaching rapidly to these very airwaves. You are hereby advised to stay close to the radio. Ignore work. Step away from household chores and postpone all other supposed important things on your to-do list. This event may include home runs.
Out of here! Bill with an opposite field, 2-run homer.
Late inning drama.
Here comes Keyshaw. Buxton's right on his heels. It's a bases clearing 3-run double for Brooks Lee.
This is not a drill. Make sure you're prepared for Twins baseball on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Since taking office, I have delivered more than $65 million in investments back to our district. I'm also fighting to hold ICE agents accountable in Minneapolis. First and foremost, my office is here to help you. If you need to resolve issues with your Social Security or veteran benefits, please reach out to my team at omar.house.gov. When Washington isn't working for you, I will.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
I'm Emma Greed, host of Aspire with Emma Greed, a podcast where I sit down with people who don't just dream big, they build big. From culture-shaping voices like Mel Robbins to leaders redefining success like Tracy Ellis Ross to game-changing entrepreneurs like Mark Cuban. Aspire is about mindset, ambition, and doing the work that actually moves the needle. If you're ready to raise your standards and take charge about the life and career you're building, Aspire is where you start. Follow and listen to Aspire with me, Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available wherever you get your podcasts.
Flint Hills Resources Pine Bend Refinery in Rosemont produces important transportation fuels used throughout the Midwest, but they're also active in the community. They support many programs and organizations that make Minnesota better. Go to FHR.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
I'm brought to you by Flint Hills Resources. Still got the injury crash working. West 694 near Rice Street. Traffic down to a single lane, getting by on the left side. Get ready for your slowdowns as you come off of 694 and 35E in both directions as you head toward that scene of the crash. If you're going to be traveling East 36, got some minor slowdowns around Cleveland Avenue. West 36 a bit heavier, though, from 35E heading out to Snelling Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCL.
Jason DeRusha here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Nothing on the radar yet. It looks like in the overnight hours, that's when we're expecting scattered showers and thunderstorms, low 65. Tomorrow, it's sort of the same deal. Thursday and Friday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, high of 81. It's going to be a hot and humid weekend, though, so get ready for that. Right now, sun is out, 82 degrees on CCO.
Jason DeRusha.
You can't have people telling you 24/7 that you're great. You need people around you to say, hey, that's a bad idea.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Enough! All right, Dan Cook hooked me in with that tease before the break.
Thank you. That was the goal.
Lots of texts coming in. You're enough at 651-461-9226. Dan, the first world is yours.
I mean, and I'm just, again, prefacing this. This is got to be the ultimate first world problem enough.
Okay.
I'm almost embarrassed to share it. It's that bad.
Okay.
And yet in this job, you gotta just share this.
We
stuff.
live in the
This is
first
what we
world.
do.
Yeah.
Well, but this is, so I got a new vehicle.
I mean, I got stuck in the
You got stuck in the car wash.
unlimited
Yeah.
car wash, so,
Which you also pay for mine, and I very much appreciate that.
You got a new vehicle.
But that's part of the thing. I got a new vehicle, and so the new vehicle, you have to get the rust and the paint protection and the fabric protection and all of that stuff. So you got to take it to the place. They spray whatever they spray all over it. And then they give this list of, again, it's the year of our Lord 2026. And they give this list to you that says, okay, you can't roll down the windows for 3 days because of the stuff we just put on this thing.
Yeah.
And you can't take it through a car wash for at least 5 days because of the stuff we sprayed underneath this thing. And how can it take that long for this? I have to get to the parking ramp, pull like right up to the gate, open the door, step out so that I can get the card swipe to get into the ramp and get out of the ramp because I can't roll down the windows or I'm going to mess up my windows or something like that. And it's very annoying. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that thing, but you got to quick swipe, make sure the thing goes up. Now you got to quick jump, scramble back in, and you don't have time to put on your seatbelt because the thing's going to come down and chop your car in half. So you got to quick zip up through the thing, and now it's very annoying. It's very annoying. How do we not have chemicals? I mean, whatever cancer-causing PFAs things that just dry in a day. It's got to dry in a day. It doesn't take 3 to 5 days. It shouldn't. It's very annoying, and I've had enough of it.
Pretty good.
And if you can top that with a first world problem enough, God bless you.
I'm not sure that I can.
I don't know that anybody can.
I have one more enough.
Please.
I've had enough of our obsession with hanging on to the Aquatennial and the what's the winter parade? The dress up.
Holidazzle.
The Holidazzle. Get over it. It's gone. It's done. We don't need it back.
Let it die.
Let it die. They announced this week they're bringing back the Aquatennial. The Minneapolis Downtown Council, they were like, could we get rid of this dog? Like, we don't want to do this anymore. A new group stepped in to take it. Great. We're happy for you. They're doing 30 different free events. Fine. Get your milk carton thing. Go have it, sink in Lake Harriet. Like this. I'm wearing a Lake Harriet shirt today. Live in St. Paul.
I was going to say, are you a St. Paul guy or a Minneapolis guy? Make up your mind.
You know what? If somebody wants to give me a St. Small t-shirt or a West 7th hoodie, I'll wear that. Lake Harriet. There's no fireworks. They're just lumping it in with the Twins game that had pre-scheduled fireworks afterwards. Like, it's all right.
I mean, fireworks are fireworks. Why are you quibbling over the location?
No, enough. Let it go. I've had enough of people with their new car and unlimited car wash privilege.
Perfect.
I've had enough of road construction, says a texter.
Oh.
Andrew has had enough of kidney beans in chili. They're bitter, useless pills of disappointment. I've had this show described that way, too. Continental Diamond time check. It's 5:57. Henry's next.
You know that feeling when your body is tired, but your brain